Today we're talking about Microsoft's Tokyo Game Show announcements, the games revealed at Sony's State of Play, and the review scores of the latest Zelda game. Plus, we're revealing our favorite games that have received the most unfair criticism. Welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, the weekly gaming podcast. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by our Good Playing Good buddies, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matt Molding.
Hey now.
Before we jump into the headlines, let's check in with my cantankerous clique of Matts and find out what everyone's been playing this week. Lord?
It's been a good week of games. Wow. We had, Tokyo, why am I Tokyo? I need help.
Game show?
Game show. Okay, there we go. And then, of course, the Sony State of Play, which has been just a good week of games, at least visually. I've been watching these things, and then on the other hand, I've been playing some new games, boys, and I got into the early access for that Forever Winter game, and this goes out to friend of the pod, Hella Dope Guy, aka CJ, and he was the one who filled me in on this game, and he said, "Hey, there's this new free-to-play game that comes out."
He's been in the comments.
He has been. He said, and I went in. I went ahead and picked it up. It was $26 early access. It has it's a combination of Helldivers, Death Stranding, and it's like like Metal Gear Solid-esque, like sneaking and Escape from Tarkov, because it's a extraction shooter. So you're going in, you're just like a little weak human, and you're trying to like gather material and then get out of there, and all the while there's like warring factions going on all around you. It's really hard and very intense, but I've been having a great time. I want to do maybe I'll get some recording of the game and I can like post it online, maybe just do like a hey, check this out, here's like 5 runs that I've done. That'd be fun. I think that might play. And so that Terminator Resistance still playing on the Steam Deck. And then guess what, boys? I still don't have my physical copy of Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
No.
I've been on the lookout like a hawk. I still don't see these copies anywhere. I'm just looking and looking.
Those YouTube comments are saying, check Walmart, check Amazon. Are they not there?
Not there that I've seen. I saw there was one for like $150 at one point, and there was one left on Amazon. I'm like, I'm not going to buy the $150 copy. Like, this is a brand new game that has been in showcases, and it should be physical somewhere. Like, I should go to Target and be able to pick it up, but I can't. So that's just a little tidbit for you guys. So I hope like at some point I can say, hey, I got this in my hands, but right now, nothing.
Well, hopefully when you do find them, you can buy as many copies as possible so we can scalp them online, just like people are doing with the PlayStation Pro 30th anniversary edition.
Oh, absolutely. I'm buying like 10 anniversary editions, so you better believe.
We should all quit our jobs and just be Warhammer scalpers. That's what we gotta do.
Now you're talking. I might just be a scalper full time on just like anything I find. Go. Like, why not? At this point, I might as well.
It seems Sony doesn't care with what they did with that PlayStation, the latest PlayStation. So
I know
it can make some good money.
Why not? Yeah. So that's it for me this week, boys.
Holding.
Nice. Yes. So I am experiencing my very first video game injury. My thumb is currently hurting. So I've played and I really think it's from Overwatch. I think it's from pushing forward with my left hand on Overwatch all the time, of like moving. It aches. I can't grip things properly. So I don't feel good about that.
Osteoporosis, old man. You just need milk or something.
It's arthritis. Yes, yeah. I'm sure that's what it is. But my games this week have been, I've been playing the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, which is an old school game that I really enjoy, that I turned out never finished, I guess, this version of it. So I'm collecting some achievements on it. It's very fun. It's kind of like a Diablo-esque sort of top-down adventure game that you can play with friends and lots of Marvel characters. It's super fun. I really like it. Then some people may have watched me, the 43 people that watched me stream Super Mario Brothers Wonder last night. That was my first
That was
stream I've
awesome. That
ever
was
done.
fun.
That was really
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you so much for your support. I really
You
appreciated you
did a
being
great
in the
job.
chat.
I loved all your
Thank
banter.
you.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
thank you.
funny
It was
melding. I was having a good time.
it was I must say it is a lot harder than it looks to just sit there and talk, and for what ended up being like an hour and change. But I did appreciate some jokes that I came up with, so it was fun. It was fun to do, and the game is super fun too, so check that out if you guys get a chance on our YouTube channel where I streamed. And then I am currently playing Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, which I look forward to putting a review up soon. I don't want to slam through this game because it's fun, and I want to take some time, but I do want to get a review up on that for our fans
Yes.
soon. So that's what I've been playing, and it's
Right
fun.
on.
It's a fun game.
Nice.
What
Any
about you,
more
Dan?
plans for you to stream?
Yeah, yes. I'm probably not going to stream Zelda because I want to capture stuff for the review. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll continue doing Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Maybe I'll just continue with that game and streaming it because I was having fun. I want to see what other animals I can change into. Hopefully, it's not just an elephant. I really hope there's other stuff. Even though I
Don't
do
worry,
love that elephant.
Yeah, the elephant like had some serious screen time.
Yeah, yeah. It was my favorite.
And speaking of Overwatch injuries, Malding, I can totally
Yes.
relate because my right thumb, I used to do wall riding with Lucio.
Oh,
And you would
yeah.
have to hold the right thumb stick to, or was it the left? Which one was it where you would, maybe it was the left when you had to wall ride, and it was like it's all arthritis to the max. You'd have to get that Kim Kardashian thumb surgery
No, I
afterwards.
need to get one of those like braces. And everyone's
Yes.
like, "Oh, do you have that like carpal tunnel from typing at work?" And I'm like, "No,
carpal.
Overwatch."
Yeah.
Overwatch carpal.
It's much
Well,
more
Boo.
respectable. No one wants injuries
Yeah.
from work.
Oh,
No.
totally. Way more respectful.
Exactly.
Well, I've been playing the shit out of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I've been having a great time doing it. I got it this weekend, and luckily I was able to get it $10 off because I went on like CD Keys and those online sites. And so it's regular $50. I got it for $40 and just played the hell out of it this weekend. Had a blast. It's really good looking. It's really fun, especially for a fan of the series. Interesting where it ranks. You'll have to check out my video. I'll link to it right here, actually, if you're watching it on YouTube. And if you're listening on the pod, definitely check out the video on YouTube. I have a review up I just published this week where I go over the game in detail, as well as I rank it in terms of the series and where it falls, because I, as many of you know, am a Dead Rising super fan. And so just enjoyed it a lot, but not as much as I thought I would. So definitely worth checking out. The
Everyone
review.
who listens to the podcast knows I don't like to be nice to Dan, but the review was fantastic and I really thought it was great. So please check it out. It was really
Thank
good.
you very much.
It was
I really
so good.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
well
that.
done.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all I've been playing. So let's just jump right into the headlines of the week. First and foremost, we had Sony's State of Play, a 30-minute update from Sony on their latest and greatest games. And to be honest with you, some of these we had seen before. So I'm not going to list absolutely everything that was shown off. I'm just going to talk about the headlines and the heavy hitters. And then I want to get your guys' reaction. So there was the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster was announced, which we had been leaked and we had been heard about, even though it's surprising that a game this new would be remastered. There it is. Then there's Monster Hunter Wilds. It got a new trailer and it got its release date finally of February 28th. There is Hell Is Us. There was Dragon Age with a new look at the dragons and the fighting. Then there was Ghost of Yatai. Do you guys know?
Yote?
Yeah. the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which was a super great game. But other than that, I mean, that was the way they closed the show, just the Ghost
The
of Tsushima
Ghost.
sequel. So it was kind of surprisingly slim on new content, but there could have been some good stuff in there. There wasn't really for me, but what did you guys think about this show?
Well, if you were online the last 2 days, the Ghost of Yate got some crazy reaction because it is a female protagonist, and lots of people were up in arms about that being the case. So if you
It's so
checked out a
weird.
lot of Twitter responses, a lot of the voice actress and the motion capture actress was blocking a lot of people who were being rude to her. And then those people were going on to post about how dare she block us? Like, that's going to do really well for the game. It's just this
Ugh.
like crazy loop of people that that just can't handle playing as a woman, and that's really upsetting. I have not played Ghosts of Tsushima.
Tsushima.
It
Tsushima.
was
I have
excellent.
not
It was
played
excellent.
that.
They out
It's
Ubied
on
Ubi with
my
that game.
list. It's
They
what?
really did.
They out Ubied Ubi. It was very an
Oh,
Ubisoft open world
Mhm.
like Assassin's Creed, and they did better than Assassin's Creed. And it was so stylish, so beautiful. They out Ubi, fantastic game.
I do
nice.
agree. In that, on that note, Dan, I put like 40 hours into just the first part, and I would like that game. And then I was like, I got through the first part, and I was like, I might need to take a break, and I never picked it back up again.
I
I
did the
was,
exact same
I
thing though.
literally
I
was like,
did the same.
I'm
I
burnt
burned
out.
out.
I burnt. I was like, okay, I did so much. Like, they don't even warn you. I didn't know that there was going to be like a whole nother. I'm like, oh, there's a whole nother thing to happen here. So that is the one thing I was like, okay, I still need to like beat that first game. And then one thing that I thought was very interesting was Assassin's Creed Shadows delays itself after this announcement. Do you think that is a reaction to this game announcement?
No, I think
I would.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed is a bug fest, has always been a bug fest. And finally, someone had some sense and said, we're going to seriously damage this brand if we don't hold off. That's what I think happened.
That's my guess too. Yeah, I don't think it has any. I mean, because they're not going to change the protagonists this late
Right.
in the game, so it can't. It's not going to be that. So I think they just want to make sure they ship a clean game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah, that's that. Both those totally fair. I just thought it was like everyone was saying, "Wow, very interesting timing." I mean, just jumping back into the games that you listed here, the one game that did stand out to me was that Hell Is Us game. I thought
Me too.
that looked cool. Like
Can you tell us
whatever
a
they're
little?
doing there.
What was that one again? And what's so great
I
about
mean,
it?
it
What are you
looked like a
interested in?
Soulsborne game
Mhm.
to me.
Yeah.
Like that very action RPG, but they were using looks like some magic, and it looked like it was some online capabilities to play with your buddies. Like kind of, I think.
Yeah, and I just liked the look of the futuristic gadgets that they were using in
Oh,
it.
now I
The
remember it now.
swords were really
Yeah.
cool looking.
They had like drones with them that were
Mhm.
helping them do stuff.
Yeah, sort of like Fantasy Star mags that would fly over you. And I just thought the little opening cinematic that was kind of cool with like mass graves being dug and stuff. I just thought it had some potential. I think it and you know, of course, it kind of was reminiscent of Death Stranding, so it got me all fired up.
Yeah, gotta love mass graves and Death Stranding.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, is that? I mean, Malding, you have to be getting pumped over the monster. The first thing I thought of when I
Oh,
saw the Wilds announcement was like, well, Malding's got to be like
yeah.
freaking stoked over here. What was your take
Absolutely.
on that?
I just talk about Monster Hunter a lot, so I wasn't gonna bring it up. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's gonna be, I mean, it's the successor to Monster Hunter World, which I just love so much. I think it looks great. The facial animations look way better than what it has in the past, and the monster fights just look insane. And I cannot wait to fight those monsters. I love
Ugh.
those games so
I
much.
mean,
I thought it looked bloated. It didn't have enough color, and it looked like they put
I think
Final
you look
Fantasy.
bloated.
That could have been because I drank too much milk earlier. I had a whole bowl of cereal. I was scarfing it down to make sure I was on time. No, I thought that they looked like they had put Final Fantasy in their game, and they're
That's
heading in a
funny.
direction that looks even less fun to me. So I'm out on this one.
You're so wrong.
I
wrong.
no, I mean, I'm with Dan on this one. I
Oh,
felt
you're
like they
both
were.
they're ganging up on me.
Sorry,
That's
Mulder.
unfair.
I thought it looked like they were going for like a very narrative heavy. Like everything about that looked like they're gonna try to like make some story happen.
Well,
here.
the
And I'm
narrative
not.
in the other games, I've
You're
only
right.
played World and Rise. I mean, the narrative is not the point of those games, and
Right.
they don't put a lot of work into it. So if they
Okay.
do put some good narrative into this one, I'll be happy. Like that'll
Oh,
be great.
okay, so that'll be a good thing
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot
Yeah.
of people just play it not for that narrative.
Yeah.
They're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna kill monsters and hunt monsters, but like they might take a little bit away from that by putting in this narrative.
I don't know. I think it's going to add something. We'll see.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I hope so too.
But I had a couple things. The Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. Who's asking for that? I don't know. That game was beautiful when I played it the first time, unless I'm remembering it incorrectly. So I don't know why I would spend $10 to get a remaster. Would you guys ever do it? Like, I don't know.
No, not this game. This
No
game
way.
wasn't even good to begin with.
Oh, you
Why
didn't
would
like
I?
it? Oh, I liked it.
I agreed. I didn't love this game, and this is just a
I mean-
cash in. I've been waiting for Sony to make actual PlayStation 5 games, and all they're doing is
Yes.
remastering PlayStation
All
4.
they're doing.
They're
Yep.
going really cheap. They're being lazy because they're in first place, and we're allowing them to do it.
Well said. I couldn't have said that any better. I just played the first one again on the PC. That was one of the games I picked up, and I put some time into it. So it just didn't hit again. So I was just like, okay, I definitely don't need this remaster when it comes out.
Did you like the second one? Did you play the second one?
Didn't play the second one
No,
because
I
I
did.
knew.
The
I was
second
like,
one's even
bounced on that
better.
one.
Oh,
No, it was
so
worse.
good, guys.
Clunkier and more boring.
What are you doing to me? You're just driving me nuts this episode. Okay, so now I'm going to go something that Dan and I might agree, maybe Matt will agree on now too, is that the scenes from the Dragon Age where you get to see someone playing as a mage. I'm finally convinced. I'm
Awesome.
convinced that I want to play this game now. I am a mage player. I'm a wizard player. That's who I like to play as in games. And it just looked really responsive, and we finally saw some blood that I was looking for, and some violence. And this time, finally, I feel like it clicked. And I'm not saying that just because people in the comments have been dragging us a bit on our opinion of Dragon Age, but because I really do feel this way. Like I don't know if I'm going to get it day one yet. Probably will, but sure. I am now looking forward to playing it.
The one thing that had me a little like, I felt like they had that huge ability wheel that was up, and that made me, and it looked like that was kind of like slowing things down a little bit to me. That was the one
because
thing.
we don't know what's in it. Because we're not playing it, so we don't know what we're looking at.
I was like, "What is this thing that keeps showing up on the screen?" And I was like, "I'm not sure." Like, I didn't know because I felt like it. Yeah, like obviously slowed down time, or it stopped time. I couldn't call it. It stopped it. Okay, so yeah, that thing was pretty beefy. But you're right, Malding. It did. It really did make me like, okay, we're getting somewhere. It wasn't the first. I think maybe. I mean, do you also think maybe after that first initial gameplay reveal, a few months back, they're just like, we got to do something to get people back on our side.
That first cinematic was so bad. Like it really just so bad. So all these things that they've released, these gameplay videos, have just like crawled me out of that hole to get me back to where I should be.
I agree.
I'm still not sold on the graphics, but I loved the action, and I love action games, but they're known for great stories and something a little bit more cerebral and caring about characters and killing. But and that's what I'm craving. I'm craving like a really deep, smart system, and this looks like it's going to have it. So despite the graphics, I am so in day one, and I will tell you guys how great it is on the podcast.
Can't wait.
I look forward to it. And then I have one more comment on this is who's letting Keanu Reeves do more VO work? Like I love him as an actor, but man, his video game VO work is just abysmal. I could barely get through the scenes that he was in Cyberpunk.
I agree.
He's so
He was
bad
not the
at
best part.
this. And
Yeah.
so when they revealed him as like part of the new Sonic game, and I was just like, geez, how is this guy getting still getting work in video games? But
Yeah.
that's that. I just wanted to mention that. I
That is a
love
good
him,
point,
but
though.
not
Solid
in video games, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Wait, you guys didn't really like him that much in Cyberpunk? Because I thought he
No.
had some moments in that game that I was like,
No,
okay, I'm
it was
not too
boring.
mad.
Awful.
Okay.
I would have rather had Chris Pratt, and that's saying something. That's
Ooh,
really
yes,
going far. Here.
exactly. Yeah.
Wait, that's wild. Okay.
Okay, I'm just kidding about that. That is a little extreme.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That
That's
was
a little harsh.
Dan's
I'm
going
too much of a
real
dick,
off the walls
sorry.
right now.
I'll reel it back a little.
Yes, yes,
Now
please.
put Chris Evans in there, and I
Oh.
won't stop playing the game. I would just be playing it right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Harry Cavill, maybe?
Oh, Henry, yes. Oh my
Henry.
gosh, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my take on the whole thing.
What do you guys rate the show if you were to give it a letter grade?
A letter grade. C plus? Maybe B minus. B minus.
Dan?
F. Easily.
What?
100%. Had absolutely. There's no reason for that show to exist. It could have been an email. It only had one new game. F.
Yeah. I'm a little bit more. I think there's some games in there for me, but like I'm thinking C minus D plus ish. Like just because I do like the Hell Is Us, like, and you're right. Like I think a lot of those games are also they're multi-platform. A lot of those games too. So it's like we weren't looking so
That's
good.
a good point. Wait, what was that? Was this the one that had the claymation one? Was that this, or was that the Xbox one?
No, this
That
also
was-
had a claymation one. You're right. This one did
That's a
have
brand
one.
new
Yes.
one. I can't remember what that one
Yeah,
was called,
but
but that one looked great.
That one looked great, but that also is a PSVR game, and I think they have it.
Oh, it was. Oh, it was
Yeah.
both. You could do
It's
both, right?
It's
Yeah.
both. But I'm willing to bet they probably had it real leaning into PSVR.
The
because they
Midnight
want-
Walk. That was the
The
name of
Midnight
that
Walk,
Yes.
right? And
Also
so-
not interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely am a little bit like I'm with Dan. Like that could have been an email. That could have been a blog. That's what I think these need to be. I mean, if they didn't get so many viewers on YouTube, like 500K concurrent viewers, this could have just been a blog post.
Yeah.
Launched all the.
No, I understand
trailers
why
and
they
that's
did it. I'm just saying they need to start making some games.
Yes, let's make some games. We can do it.
All
I
right,
agree with
moving
all
on,
of
though.
that. You guys are a bit harsh, but I agree with everything you have to say.
Moving on, let's talk about Microsoft's Tokyo Game Show. I want to know what you guys thought of that one. Again, this was a little bit bigger of a show with stuff we'd seen before. It did have some surprises, however. The notable standouts, I thought, and please feel free to add to this, was Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Great footage, StarCraft Remastered, and StarCraft 2. Now, those are PC, and those are going to PC Game Pass, I believe, November 2nd. But that was a surprise to the show. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle showed off more footage. Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster being available on the Xbox was a surprise. We Love Katamari Reroll and Royal Reverie and Threads of Time. So what did you guys think about Microsoft's show?
Malding, go
Lord.
ahead. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll go.
All right.
So I never played Metal Gear Snake Eater, so I am down for that because it's a remake, right? It's a redo of okay. So I was right. So I never played that, so I'm looking forward to picking that up. I thought it looked great. StarCraft, those games, StarCraft and StarCraft 2 are so fun, and they launched gaming, professional, competitive gaming, I think, as we know it. And I love those games. And that might actually get me to go on the PC with my new computer and play those games because I love them. So looking forward to that. I've Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've talked about it. It looks terrible to me. I think it looks like an abysmal game. I put Threads of Time on there. I thought that looked super fun, like a throwback to old school RPGs.
Star Ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought that looked great.
I thought it was a sequel, to be honest. That was.
Oh, really?
I
Because it
thought it
looks so
was.
similar.
I thought it looked very similar, and I was like, "This has to be like the sequel." And then I was like, "Oh no, it's a whole new,
Yeah, it's a
whole new
one.
shebang." So
I already own Final Fantasy 1 through 6 a pixel remaster on my Switch, and I might buy it again, possibly on Xbox for the achievements. But also Secrets of Mana, or and the other Mana game being released on Game Pass. One game that I played when I was a kid that I loved, and then the other game that I've never tried. So those Game Pass releases released the day of the show, and I'm super excited to try those out. So I thought those were good. I thought that was a good show too.
yeah, I agree, Malding. Definitely the Snake Eater footage got me super pumped. Like that looked amazing. And it doesn't look like they're taking liberties with the game. I felt like it felt very true to its source material. And I was not like disappointed. I thought that was really, really cool. And that was a big win for Microsoft. Like I know people are watching that and getting very, very excited. That got me super excited.
It's not exclusive, is it?
I don't
No,
think
I don't
I don't think so.
No.
But like, I mean, it's a big win for Microsoft to be showing that off.
For
I
them
thought that
to
was
be
cool.
showing
it's
off.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like that was awesome. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. And then Malding, couldn't agree more. StarCraft, I'm gonna be playing that. That looked
So
really
good.
awesome. So that got me all fired up. And then of course I got juked out. I thought the Pixel remaster was coming to Game Pass, and I was like texting, I'm like, it's coming to Game Pass. And they're like, not on Game Pass. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm a little bit
We had to
sad.
pour some cold water on you, and I
No,
got to
I
watch.
had
It was
to wake
funny.
up. I was like, oh, okay, I guess not Game Pass. That would have been a perfect. Could you imagine? That would have been awesome. Like,
Well, they did do something different. Maybe you can do this on Switch. I'm not quite sure because I bought them all as one group, but you can buy them individually or buy the whole thing. So you can buy them
oh,
individually for between it looked like between $7 and $20. I might just pick up like 6 because that's one of the best games ever made. So I might just pick that up for $20 and play through it on the Xbox.
yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked. I mean, of course, Indiana Jones. I still think you're going to play half of that game as the
I agree.
sidekick. So
Yep.
I just am lean. I like that thing is you're going to be playing as the sidekick in that one. So
No,
I'm like, ooh.
no.
And then Threads of Time. I was really pleased with that. I want some more games, just like Star Ocean. I thought Star Ocean was really cool. Dan, great recommendation there because I was addicted to that game for a while, and I know I
That's good
still need to
stuff.
jump back in and wrap it up because I've gotten definitely to a far point. I should be able to finish it. So good stuff. Dan, what was your take on the show?
I thought this show was really smart, to be honest with you. Now, again, this content in these games, not necessarily appealing to me. And yes, there was a lot of stuff we'd already seen. However, Microsoft is in Tokyo. And so this was very focused on RPGs and content that is Japanese or has come from Japanese people and makers and companies and stuff like that. So very smart in terms of their targeting and their messaging. I think it was even at 3 a.m. our time. So it's a clear indicator that this is for the Japanese market. And I thought that was great. So as in terms of a show, I thought it was great for the people that they were speaking to. And very respectful because they are in Tokyo. But in terms of games that I'm interested in, again, it could have kind of been an email. I wanted to see the Metal Gear stuff, but it's got to be
Yeah.
like a D, maybe plus, D minus. It's just, it didn't have anything new. I don't know what it was like really, existing for, other than what it was trying to do with touting itself as having RPGs and content from um, other, from Japanese studios. So yeah, just I wasn't wild about this one. What do you guys think?
There were probably 2 or maybe 3 times as many games in that show as we just mentioned, and it's the same. Like, we didn't mention them. I didn't mention them either because they're not games I'm interested in either. But watch that
I'm
show
happy they're there.
if you love JRPGs, because it was stacked with them. It was
Yes,
like
and so I
anime
think it's
stacked
awesome.
with them.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm really happy for them. That's awesome. I agree, but it wasn't for me.
Is it awesome?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was smart. I think it's a cool thing. Like, I'm glad maybe they're like trying to, I mean, it sounds like they're moving in on Sony's turf a little bit and trying to say, hey,
I liked it.
Yeah, like this is our play. We're gonna be in this market, and it looked good. I thought you totally nailed it. I don't know, the games, of course, I love a good JRPG, so I was stoked. I was pleased with the turnout, and so let's have them release and let's get our hands on them. I thought it was like I thought it was a C show for me, like a C plus probably, because that Metal Gear, just the Metal Gear alone was so cool. And just seeing like that awesome bridge scene, seeing the bees come in and the scientist is getting lifted up into the helicopter. That is like the iconic opening moments of that game that I love that they didn't touch that and they're keeping that. And it was awesome. It's good stuff.
Well, I'm glad you like it because we'll have more of that kind of content. We've got something planned for that coming up soon. So keep the excitement level high. All right. So we talked about Sony, we talked about Xbox, and now it's time to talk about Nintendo. I do have to admit, I might be starting to turn the corner on this one, especially seeing the reviews. Molding, I believe this was your story, though.
Yes, I think you are referring to our Miss Zelda and Echoes of Wisdom.
Exactly, yes.
Yes, I started playing it, as we said at the beginning, I started playing it last night. And I'm very looking forward to finishing it. But we have a review roundup for you. So as of recording, Metacritic has The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom at an 86 with 88 reviews, and OpenCritic has it at an 87. And I just pulled some notable reviews from some of the more popular game sites. So IGN says The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom is far greater than a gimmicky spinoff led by Zelda instead of Link. Its echo summoning is a clever concept used to combine the expertly crafted dungeons, puzzle rooms, and item progression you'd expect from a classic style 2D Zelda with the borderline unhinged freedom provided by Tears of the Kingdom. This experiment doesn't produce an entirely perfect result, with a little bit of clunky menu management and combat that simply isn't quite as compelling, but it's impressively successful one all the same. GameSpot says if Zelda's review in the spotlight is a one-off, at least it's a memorable adventure. But hopefully this is the beginning of a new legend for the heroine. Echoes of Wisdom brilliantly integrates Echo's system links. Echoes of Wisdom's brilliantly integrates ecosystem links two eras, providing that the freedom mechanics of the new age can coexist with the franchise's classic formula. The Verge wasn't so rosy on it. They said, I think the singular ability to use Link's sword gets at the heart of what's ultimately disappointing about the game. All of Zelda's wits don't really amount to much. Sure, I had dozens of echoes at my disposal, but halfway through the game, they only got in my way as I scrolled past them to get the same 5 echoes I knew would get the job done. Combat was better, but whenever I wanted, I could thwart a difficult foe by simply stabbing it to death. That's not to say that Echoes of Wisdom wasn't fun. I wouldn't have taken the time to clear every optional dungeon or most of the side quests if I hadn't been enjoying myself, but after 35 years of lending her name to the iconic franchise, I wanted Zelda's first game to be a little bit more worthy of her intelligence and strength. And I do want to apologize. I don't know who the author of that Verge one. I pulled it from another site, so I don't have the author who was saying so sorry about that. But I do. I want to say from what I've been playing so far that you kind of do have to put some restrictions on yourself, because you can do a lot of things very easy, but that's not what I feel the game is about. I feel that the game is about doing something creatively over going the easy route. So maybe
I'm in trouble
there's
then, because I'm an easy route guy.
Yeah,
yeah,
me too. So you have to
I'll say
restrict
I'll just put
yourself
that.
because like you could
No,
cheese it.
I don't say you have to. You do get a sword at a point, but there's a meter on it, so you can only use it for a certain amount of time before you revert back and have to rely on other things. But what you couldn't see from the trailers and from the gameplay is that there are a ton of enemies that you get the echoes for, and the enemies do different things. And so let's say you want to attack something that's far off, you can use like one of the little roly guys, and you fire him off like you're using a weapon, and you kind of use these monsters as weapons. What I was worried about is you just making the monster and then it going off and fighting the thing for you. There are monsters you can pick for that, but if you don't want to play like that, you don't have to. So that's where I say there's a little bit of choice involved. Like, yeah, I could do the easy thing and create the warrior guy, but I want to use the roly guy and fire it off like a weapon there. So you kind of make the game your own.
Okay, I'm out again.
Oh no!
Oh, come on.
Dan's out. I think
No,
it sounds
I'm
fun.
kidding. I still want to borrow it from you.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
well, I
loved
put
like
it digitally, so you're gonna have to you're gonna have to.
oh.
It's because it can't. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I let you borrow my Mario Wonder, and then you go and pull shit like this.
That's just uncalled for, Malding. And we've had this
that was a
digital
low
versus
blow.
physical discussion all week.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just.
It's more out of laziness than anything else, because I didn't have it and then I wanted it. Oh, here's my excuse. It was part of the the voucher system.
Oh.
So I spent $100 and I got it and Pikmin 4. So I saved a little bit of money on it.
Okay, that's valid.
Yeah,
we'll say
that's
that.
really
That's
valid.
my excuse.
So, like, does it have a lot of Tears of the Kingdom vibes to it? Because I do love a good Tears of the Kingdom, and if it has that, I could jump. I could see myself playing this one for sure.
The first thing I would say is Link's Awakening. That's what it feels. But the creativity is Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay,
that's where it has that. There's a level of creativity there that wasn't part of Link's Awakening that I feel in this one.
Sweet. Well,
it's like you come to a challenge and you could create a bunch of beds. You could create a spider that you attach yourself to. Like you can approach these challenges in different ways. And that's what I loved about Tears of the Kingdom is Dan and I would be talking about how'd you finish that they weren't dungeons. What were they called? Whatever they were called. How did you finish that trial? Oh, I finished it this way, and then comparing notes. It won't be
I did love
that much, but that is there.
Sweet. No. Sounds good. Well, I can't wait for the full review.
Yes, I agree. Can't wait. And then I will have to go get it myself if it's actually good.
Yes.
But moving on, let's talk about the next potential console and Xbox. This is a delicious little rumor I wanted to share with you boys just to get your thoughts on it, because I definitely have thoughts on it. Essentially, on the internet this week, they said there was an article saying that the next Xbox would be a console as well as a handheld. Now, this comes from Jez Gordon at Windows Central in the unfortunately entitled article, quote, "We're building plans for the 25th anniversary of Halo and Xbox," end quote. Microsoft confirms in a new interview, quote, "We have such a rich heritage, you have to celebrate that," end quote. So despite the overly long and annoying title, the article was an interesting read, but the part I wanted to bring up to you guys, it says Xbox 25th anniversary would fall on November 15th, 2026, which puts it firmly in the range of a new generation of Xbox hardware potentially. Sony just revealed its mid-gen console, the PS5 Pro, which Xbox has passed on competing with this time around. Instead, it seems Xbox is full steam ahead with its next set of console hardware, which we tentatively believe, based on our sources, to include at least both a traditional style successor to the Xbox Series X and Microsoft's first real foray into Xbox handheld gaming with its own take on the Steam Deck. And then Jez Gordon goes on again to say it would be poignant to release those new devices on Xbox's 25th birthday with the kind of fanfare that I feel the brand has been missing a bit as it navigates strategic changes that haven't always proven popular with its existing consumers. Then George Yang from GameSpot also reported on the same thing in an article that much more sensibly titled, "The next Xbox console generation could include a handheld." And he essentially says everything Jez Gordon says, but then he also says, last year, documents regarding Xbox's mid-gen refresh plans were leaked, aiming for a supposed October 2024 release. Microsoft claimed that those plans were outdated, and obviously it's true since nothing happened, but is still indeed releasing a digital-only Xbox Series X. So they are doing something, just not the Pro. So with these rumors circulating, again, tons of speculation, but coming from legit sources, what do you guys think about it?
Oh, I love the idea of the Xbox Series X style, and then the handheld being the lower gen, like Series S level. I think that is genius. Then on top of that, Xbox would be able to make a dock that could be like $90, like the Steam Deck dock, and then you can make additional money that way. I just think that makes so much sense. A handheld that just has a little bit lower specs than the X, and I really hope they take this route, and I would love for it to have maybe cartridges like the Nintendo. I don't want them to do away with the digital quite yet. I would love like some sort of an Xbox cartridge would be so cool. I would love that. And I just think it's a smart play. That the handheld is it's booming right now, so it makes perfect sense. I think Sony is kind of out of the market right now. That is a perfect spot for Microsoft to fill in.
Molding?
I do not care about handheld. It is not even on my radar. So my concern would be that they split their focus again. And just like they did with the Xbox Series X and S, that they want to make something that works on both the handheld and the console. So then they make an inferior product that allows that to happen. Maybe that's the way it goes. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Am I playing the same games on the handheld as I am on the console? If that's the case, I'm just not in the market for the handheld.
No, go for it, Dan.
So and my take essentially is, obviously handhelds are the new hotness. That is a space that both of these people need to be in. We've seen with Sony releasing their streaming handheld, selling out left and right. So obviously this is booming. My only question is, why wait? We know that they can make a handheld of the Xbox Series S today. Their mid-gen refresh, it should have been the handheld. So they're missing something here. I think they're going to be a little late to the party if they wait, to be honest with you. They should have done it now. But okay, so then now we're going to wait to, the next generation of consoles, and that's when they're supposedly supposed to introduce this handheld, which I think it's got to be a lock. It makes so much sense. It has to happen because this lower spec system is perfect for it. I think it is a little bit ambitious to say that it's coming out in 2026. The reporters seem to be saying that, like, because there wasn't a mid-gen refresh, then hey, maybe they are trying to one up the Sony and get the generation started a year early, which would make the Xbox Series X and S only 6 years old. Traditionally, consoles have been refreshed say every 7 years. However, it does harken back to the strategy of the Xbox 360, where they did come out a full year in advance of the PlayStation 3. And now the PlayStation 3 definitely ended up winning in the end. Xbox got a leg up on them, and it gave them a significant advantage that they had that new console in the market for a year in advance. Unfortunately for them, no one's making games for new consoles. They only make the old ones. So that having it out a year in advance kind of, I don't think would be a huge help. I don't really think this 2026 thing is legit. I still think that new consoles are 2027, but the handheld's a lock. What do you guys
I'm
think about launch
I
or
think,
responses?
I mean, I think, yes, I hope it's a year in advance. That is such a good, because when I remember the 360 launch like it was yesterday, and that the hype around the 360 when there was that new console coming out was massive. And I was working at GameStop at the, or EB Games at the time, probably. And it was so like, man, that got the hype going. So I'm sure if we got a console earlier than expected, it would be a hit. But I'm also having a mental crisis now, a bigger one than usual. It I do I'm afraid they're going to release the handheld as a streaming device, because they don't
No,
want
they
to have
can't. They
they
can't. I
don't
mean,
want to
that'd be
have
awful.
that differential in system power. And I think they're going to utilize their cloud gaming to make that happen. That's going to be their selling point. And I hope I didn't just call it, but I kind of wonder if that's going to be the
No
way
way.
it is.
Hopefully. I mean, I
I hope
agree.
not.
It would be
Yeah.
detrimental and totally ruin the product if it were streaming
Uh,
only.
yeah, I hope not. That would not make me very happy or hyped for it at all.
Malding, thoughts before we move on?
I have none. Zero thoughts. I don't care. Like I said, don't care about a handheld. I just want whatever the next generation is. I want good games. That's all that matters to me, is good games to play these.
Same,
I
absolutely.
agree. Speaking of good games, GTA 5 is back in the news, but this time not for the best reasons. Lord, you had the story.
Yeah, this is an interesting little quick story that I had pulled up, because guess what? Rockstar released a new anti-cheat for GTA 5, and it broke the game for Steam Deck users. Now, this is exclusive to GTA Online, but Valve caught wind of this, and they are actually offering refunds to players that are on Steam, and you can go in and kind of spam their refund button, and you kind of, it's kind of like a more roundabout way of doing it, but they will actually give you a refund for this game even if you have a ton of hours. Now, the reason why I thought this was so interesting is because we've been talking about digital games so often lately, and I think this was such a win in Valve's favor, because this is something that I do think you need to have these sort of protections. If the game breaks on the system and it's on their platform, you should be able to go back and refund it, and they should honor that. Like, I think that was really, really cool. I mean, I don't know how many people are really playing GTA Online on the Steam Deck, to be completely honest with you, but it just looks like so good in Valve's favor. And I just wanted to, like, I mean, do you guys think that's the right choice for Valve, or is that a slippery slope as that kind of service? It's hard to say. What do you think?
I think it sounds great. I wish I could get a refund on one of the 3 times that I bought that game, so I could go back in time and only buy it once.
Fair.
Right.
No, that's great. That's great, like, consumer service. So
Yeah.
I applaud it.
No, totally.
I definitely think it is good consumer service. It does make me wonder, however, is Valve trying to punish GTA for not using some sort of software that would be compatible with their system, the Steam Deck? So they're taking away revenue because their game no longer works on Valve's Steam Deck.
Right. No, and totally. And I think there's like a discussion on who's really like giving up the refund. I think it is more so on the Rockstar side. So they're kind of like, hey, you're gonna eat this loss.
Yeah,
But
where's the money coming from? I wonder.
Yeah, there's been like discussion online, like, is it Valve? Is it Rockstar, and like there was a lot, so it wasn't set in stone. But I think that is like, it is so weird. I mean, there's not a lot of reasoning why they released this new anti-cheat to begin with to break it on Linux. Like, it seems completely unnecessary to me. And
Money.
yeah, probably
It's all
money.
about them shark cards.
That's right. Oh, I'm sure. So
I mean, Rockstar has enough money to cover this in the cushions of their staff room. Like, they're so flush with money that they're not in any trouble there at all.
So true. But crazy. I'm sure we'll be seeing more things like that come in the future.
Yeah, definitely be interesting to watch. All right, moving on. Let's go to listener emails of the week. Lord, I think you had our first topic.
Yeah. So I was just kind of digging around, and I just thought this was an interesting one. If you can think back, what is the most unfair criticism you've heard about your favorite game? And I had a couple that I was like, I just couldn't resist. So what do you guys think?
Oh, this one's easy. This is Dan not being able to figure out Monster Hunter World Online. That's so simple. It's such a simple thing. You just didn't have the patience.
That is the most convoluted online system I've ever seen.
Simple.
And that's indicative of all of the gameplay. It was bloated, convoluted, and not easy to play.
It's very simple. You just
that is the criticism he's
That's
talking
all
about.
It is.
That's true. And the problem he has with it is it's honest to the truth.
And
no problem. I have no problem. I found it very easy to play with people online. Maybe because you were trying to play with friends, and that's not necessarily where it's at, even though you can do that pretty easily. But playing online with people was very simple. Like, you just jump into a fight.
Okay, so you're actually talking about like playing with people is the difficult part, not like
they're matchmaking in that system. Ooh, doggy.
Okay,
it's not friendly.
Okay,
simple, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Well, so guess what? We can do it all again on the new Monster Hunter. So
exactly.
Buckle up.
Dan, what was mine?
For mine, I was gonna say,
come on, bring it to me. Bring it to me.
that was my real one. But I did want to say Friday the 13th because Malding's such a butthole. Every time I bring up one of the best games ever, because it was a party game. It was fun. It didn't have to have great graphics or deep strategy. It was just fun to hang out with your friends. And yet then there's Malding over there poo-pooing and crying in the corner every time I came to play it.
I'll shit all over that game any chance I get.
I know. It is kind of funny though, but that wasn't even the real one. The real one that I really, chaps my hide is when people insult The Last of Us 2. Boy, that game had such a botched rollout to the point that I wasn't even that interested in it. The leaked cutscenes, the death of the character, some of the changes in the story. I can understand why people's initial reaction was pretty hesitant on it. But then if they would just give it a chance and sit down and play it, I'm telling you, that is one of the best stories I've ever experienced in gaming. And it was incredible, and it was unfairly judged out of the gate. And it pisses me off because people are going to see the actual show. Unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about the trailer. But we were going to. But they're going to see the season. And the season is going to be fantastic. And it's going to end on a cliffhanger. We all know what's going to happen. And then the next season is going to finish the story. And they're going to fall in love with Abby because I love Abby so much as a character. I wrote an article about it on our blog. And if I could link it right here, I definitely will.
Playingwithyou.com. Check it out. Dan wrote a great article.
I thank you. That's how passionate I am about this game. One of the best stories ever told, and it deserves to be appreciated a little bit more.
Dan, I will say I was kind of one of those people, definitely saw the leaks, definitely was concerned. But then, honestly, Dan, that blog post that you wrote had me really like, okay, I need to get back in this game and finish it up. Because, Dan, it was compelling. I was like ready to rock. So
thanks, buddy.
You need to be a lawyer. Yeah, so mine, this is a real life experience that I actually had IRL. I was talking with somebody and I said, oh yeah, like I'm playing The Witcher 3, like honestly, probably one of the best games I've ever played. She says, you know what? that game is completely sexist. I'm never going to play it. And I said, hold on. I don't like, is that, I'm like, hang on. Like, I've played this game and I don't remember anything like that. I mean, I guess there's some sexy scenes, but being sexist,
I
was
have a
like,
lot of bad things to say about Cyberpunk, but sexist, I'm not sure where that's
yeah,
from. Like,
or Witcher 3. Witcher 3.
oh, Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. Now, does that change does that change?
Still got nothing on you on that one.
I mean,
That's-
every single woman in that game is like super powerful. Is like,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
like they, in
has
fact,
agency and
yes, girl is like their boy toy. Like they
I
just
know.
love him and leave him, and they totally cast him aside. These are
Okay.
like really strong, powerful women with very, they've got spells and they got all this stuff, and they can kill
And that-
people all the time. Or
I just
they're
couldn't
awesome.
believe that one. I was like, that game, like, you can't. First of all, you should never miss out on that game because it is that good.
Fantastic.
The
Fantastic.
story will, I don't know, maybe it will never get matched, so you will have to play it at some point. But I couldn't believe that one. And then, of course, when Death Stranding's getting a lot of love this night. When people say Death Stranding is a walking sim, I'm just like,
Death Stranding is a walking sim.
Death Stranding is a walking sim.
I just can't. I cannot. I'm like, you guys, you got to play the game, enjoy that story. It's not a walking sim.
Enjoy
it.
My
And that
poor thumb would
is-
never be able to handle that walking sim at this point.
Yeah, you would need to ice that thumb before you jump back in molding. But I just thought that was a funny little topic. I couldn't resist. I obviously was thinking about some of the favorites out there this week, so had to give it a shout out.
Yeah, no, definitely some good picks. All right, moving on. Now let's get a little bit spooky, yeah, because we have a listener email of the week, and this comes from Shore Tide, friend of the pod.
show, friend of the pod.
Exactly. He writes in and says, "Hey guys, with Halloween just around the corner, what are some of your favorite in-game Halloween events of all time? Really enjoying the pod."
Thanks, Brendan.
Yeah,
Dang.
exactly. Thank you. So I also love in-game events. I think they're definitely fun. I love them more than I love in-pod audio. So what do you guys think? What are some of your favorites?
Oh, this one was easy for me. But Maldi, go
Go.
first.
No, please go, Matt. I took your last time.
I can't resist this one, and Dan has heard me croak about it before because honestly, Super Mario Maker 2 is the best way to get in the Halloween spirit, if you can believe it or not. You go in there and you find the worlds that are Halloween themed that players have created. And when I tell you, these things are like walking through a haunted house or just like a cool, fall forest. These games will get you into the Halloween spirit unlike any other. And I've sworn by this. I do it every year. I'll fire it up in October. You'll find a whole playlist. I think I even wrote a Last Night's Grime dedicated to some of the best levels that I've
Please
come
write
across.
Another article with some of your favorites, because I still love Mario Maker 2, and you could totally do a great article on this one.
I could definitely do it. And if I have some other ones, I could I'll cop them over to the blog because
do a little repurposing.
Oh yeah. Exactly. It's a great way to get into the Halloween spirit. I can't recommend it enough. It's so cool.
Nice.
Never played. I've never played that game, so I have so maybe I'll check it out. Yeah, very spooky. I mean, Dead by Daylight is a Halloween game, so when they add then the Halloween event that they do, it just adds a little spice to it. I don't even have any details. You get some like Halloween themed cosmetics most of the time, but they switch some stuff up with the gens that make it look a little spookier. But that game already is a Halloween game, and this just adds a nice little like holiday touch to it. So that was definitely my first choice.
That's a great one.
Yeah. So good.
It makes me want to
So
play
my first choice had to be, I was torn. There was either Destiny 2 Festival of the Lost, because Destiny does do some fun stuff with cosmetics that you can earn through the special event, Really loved it. But then if you're not feeling the social vibe, you could play Bloody Harvest and Borderlands 3. Not a lot of people know that Borderlands 3 got some great seasonal content and it was a free download. So if you've been interested in jumping back into that game before Borderlands 4 is announced, spooky season would definitely be the time.
Oh, good
Yeah,
call.
that's good.
Really good call. Oh, I want to play some Halloween games now. Jeez.
Malding, didn't you have one more?
Yeah, special shout out to our game Overwatch. I think Junkenstein's Revenge was the very first holiday event that Overwatch did, and they've carried it over every year. It's just a really fun, like when you were originally playing Overwatch and you were playing it one way, and then all of a sudden they put this event which just was totally different, forced you to choose a couple characters and do like a horde mode sort of event. You got some I love their Overwatch does great skins, and so you got some really fun skins from those events, and they do it every year, so I look forward to playing some more Junkenstein's Revenge this year.
Nice. That is
So good.
probably the only part of Overwatch I actually genuinely enjoyed. So it's definitely worth checking out, even if you're not a fan of Overwatch.
Yeah.
My last pick, of course, seems a little obvious, but it's Fortnitemares. I'm a huge fan. And then speaking of, Lord, what you were talking about with custom designed user levels in Mario Maker 2, those are also hugely featured when it comes to Fortnitemares, but they've also got like a seasonal event with lots of tasks and things like that are fun to do in the main game. So I play it every year and I can't wait for it to come around. I've got my Michael Myers skin and emote that I can bust out. Just this question went and made me look at when it's supposed to come out. And of course, nothing's been officially announced, but leakers are looking into the code. Many of them agree on October 15th being the day that Fortnitemares will come out. Although one of them disagreed and said the 11th. So between the 11th and 15th, definitely check out Fortnite if you not in there already like me, because the way they celebrate Halloween is truly a fun experience.
That's awesome. I'll be there.
Yeah, that's what I like.
I will not, because I don't get invited to your games.
Well, we can make a thing of it. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, on that note, we need to wrap things up, but please make sure you subscribe to our socials on YouTube and hit that like button too. And on behalf of the Good Playing With You crew, Matt Lord, Matt Moulding, myself, Dan Whitehill, have a great weekend. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.